What was your fear of being judged and misunderstood?
A bit of a challenge. I lived in a very white neighborhood. There was only maybe a couple black families. So the first experience that I had.
And today's topic is fear in general, but kind of beneath that is the fear of being judged and misunderstood. And I feel like you have, more probably most people, learned how to deal with that, of the illusionary part of that, but also the physical death threat attack, the whole extremes of it. So first of all, thanks for being here. Appreciate you.
Yeah, well, thank you for choosing me to be here. And thank you for holding space for me to be here, and for everyone else who's here to hold space as well. I'm very grateful and thankful.
Absolutely. So I'm curious, Shaman, because your upbringing is different than most people. What was your first fear of being judged and misunderstood, or just kind of feeling different than people? Do you remember
Of course.
what has that journey been like for you? Because when people just step into your presence, whoa, this dude is different. So how have you related to that?
Well, I think also from my upbringing, it was a bit of a challenge because my family was I lived in a very white neighborhood, meaning that there was only maybe a couple black families. So the first experience that I had of feeling different was being, brought up in that community, and having people constantly point out to me why they were being disrespectful to me because of the color of my skin. I think that was the first initial response for me, when I remember going home telling my dad, what's wrong with my skin, and I remember, I'll never forget, it was very clear, and it was in kindergarten, and I just remember people making comments about the color of my skin, and people putting me down because of the color of my skin. And so for me, going home and asking my dad, is something wrong with us? Is there something wrong with me? Am I not supposed to have this skin color? And that was really challenging for me in my early years, because I would go and try to find bleach and try to bleach my skin and try to, change my color, because I just wanted to be loved. And I was tired of being ridiculed and constantly made fun of, and constantly, people constantly calling me the N-word, and, all of these things. And then you couple that with my abilities. So then you go into that where, now they're doing that. So I'm experiencing that. And what it did was I realized that I am not, if I am changed in love because of what someone says and what someone thinks of me, then I have not gotten to the place that I want to be. You see, because the reason why people have a problem with the fear of ridicule or judgment or any of these things is because they're not affirmed in themselves. Devotion in Buddhism taught me how to affirm myself. Right? Christianity taught me how to love even being smacked across the face. Right? Quran taught me how to love my family and put my family in front of me as my heart, my soul, my friends, my heart, my soul. I'm so deeply devoted in that way to my friends and to my family. And, Krishna taught me how to be free and playful, and to be honest, to hold space, to honor the beautiful things in life that people take for granted. And so all of these things help me. So when people are calling me names and calling me the N-word, and it's not like I don't still get it, and people doing these things, if I'm moved by it, meaning if it affects me, then I have to stop and go, where am I not in that place with myself? Where am I not settled within myself and my love of God, my connection to source, my knowingness that God has already given me the approval. God has never judged me ever in all my life. So why is it that I seek the validation and approval of other people than to fully acknowledge who and what I am and in alignment with God, so that when someone says something, I can say to someone, they're not talking about me. Even though they're using my name, they're not talking about me.
Ooh. Yeah, let that pause for a minute. Let that sink in. Because but at the end, right, of like essentially it's showing like where we're still fearful, right? Where we hold that frequency of fear. And so it's like, if we're like, do you have a suggestion of like, where do we start? Like, because essentially, like, if we're afraid of the judgment, it's because we still judge ourselves.
If you're afraid of judgment, it means that you don't know who you are yet.
Yeah.
It's not just that you judge yourself, it's the fact that you don't know who you are. So you're letting someone come in and dictate to you and take dominion over your spirit and tell you who you are. You see? As I used to always say when I was a kid, I'm not going to let someone put something on my shelf. I'm going to put what I want on my shelf. And if I want to change that tomorrow, that's my choice, not your choice. Same in my relationships with my fiance. She doesn't tell me who to be, and I don't tell her who to be. What we do is we share with each other through love ways that we can continue to grow and evolve. So we challenge each other to evolve. So she'll say, I see this, and this is an area, would you like to hear about it? And then I have a choice to say yes or no. Right? And we choose to evolve in that space together. When something is upsetting us, I don't go, oh, wait, this is you. No, this is my truth. I go, oh, what do you mean by that? You know, it's kind of like when people would go to Andy Warhol and they would say something bad about his art. And Andy would say, oh, is that how you see it? How interesting. Or when people would take, Basquiat and say something rude about his art. And he says, oh, okay. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Well, yeah, okay. Well, that's how you see it. Oh, that's all. Oh, he never took it as a personal attack. He always was like, oh, this is the curiosity of another person's mind, you see. This is an understanding of another person's mind, you see. So when someone says something to me, I don't just go like that. I go, oh, and tell me how so, or tell me what you see. Oh, really? Oh, thank you for sharing. And then if I like what they shared, I keep it. I put it in a sacred place. And if I don't like what they're sharing, I put it in the trash can. But I always want to hear, how people think. What did you say? You said I remind you of a cartoon character. Please tell me about that cartoon character. And then I let them go, because I always like to be open. A person aren't maliciously trying to attack me. It's a big difference. You can feel when people are either really genuinely coming from a loving place, or are they coming from a place of wanting to push you down into the dirt or into the water to lower you because light is shining too much, and they want you to kind of dim the lights. See, I don't dim lights for anybody, you see? So again, it's a balance. It's a very delicate balance, and you have to use your intuition and your feeling of knowing that person and trusting in the heart of that person to either, are they telling me something because they want to see me grow and become even greater, or are they telling me something to take the wind out of my sails? And what? I said yes, because it doesn't work like that in the spirit world, and shamans will teach you. That's why when shamans who are earth shamans who give you like ayahuasca and plant medicine and all that, they do that to get your mind to see the things that you are going into that are actually holding you back. The understanding, I'm a spirit shaman, so my thing is all spirit, energy, frequency, helping you understand how the spirit world operates, how it maneuvers, and so forth. So when you have someone who's thinking about the war, or thinking about suffering, and their mind is there, that means you are on team war and team suffering. If you really wanted to create change, you would be on the team of God, which is only seeing and beaming the truth of what could be for humankind, which is beaming brotherhood and sisterhood, beaming love, beaming that everyone is able to have food and to have what their needs are, beaming that there is no war on planet Earth, beaming that when someone is in the hospital sick, you're not going, you're beaming, you need to get out of this bed. Your cells are getting stronger. Your body's getting stronger. And every time I go visit my friend who's in the hospital, how long are you going to plan on getting out of this? You get out of this bed. You're powerful. You're a healer. Your cells are healing. Your body is healing. Because why? Because the moment you react to what you see is the moment you believe, and you then become a participant in its support of that dimension. So if I'm on planet Earth and people are acting all kinds of ways, I choose to live my life and my spirit and my body and my mind in a fifth dimensional frequency so I can merge more into the fifth dimension of ascension myself. And so, but am I greater than someone who has no followers on Instagram? Absolutely not. I am just your brother in light. And I am just here to walk with you. I will not walk above you. And that's the biggest mistake that all the world leaders made in the past. I studied them. I studied Gandhi. I studied Dr. Martin Luther King. I studied Malcolm X. I studied all these world leaders and how they put their message out there and how they spoke and how they brought things forth. And I said, there's one mistake they made. They put themselves above the people. They didn't look at their brothers and sisters and say, come with me, let me build you up to the level where I'm at so we go together, we walk together. Because it's harder for the Matrix to take out millions of people who have the same powers and likeness, I call it the superhero team, right? Than one person speaking to the masses. One person speaking, boom, boom, done. We got him, we're done, his mouth is shut. But if you got millions of people speaking love and consciousness into life, and they're all willing to stand in the face of adversity because they know who the F they are, and they don't care what Sanchuan or Bill or Rashad or whoever says whatever, because they know who they are, because they've aligned to God's truth that they are who they are, we will change this planet faster than you can flip a dime. But that's what it's going to take. That's the resilience it's going to take. You see, that's the level of inner clarity it's going to take for people to say, I've had enough of war on our planet. And another person says it, and another person says it, and another person says it, and another person says it. And before you know it, it becomes spread across the earth that people are sick and tired.
Yeah, just all the things that I knew was going to happen, but I didn't know was going to happen. And it was fun just to come play and watch it unfold. And yeah, so fun. And all the things. And
Isn't that fun? You see what you just said? It's so fun. Spirituality is fun. Being spiritual, which means that being spiritual, which means evolution, is fun. It's fun. And it's fun to navigate. It's fun to delight. It's fun to explore energy and how to use energy, how to move energy, and that's all I do with people is create everything that I create, from my spirit optimizers that waken up energies and shows you how to use your powers, to my amazing app that I just launched, which is the Lit Vibe meditation app, where I infuse shamanic frequencies into all of the meditation. So you're not just having a meditation, you're actually awakening and activating energies. So all of a sudden people are writing me and going like, how is it that I'm completely in compassion all day long? How is it that I'm psychic and I've been able to see things before they happen? Because I fine-tuned these frequencies with spirit shamanism, and the energy is fun. When you are doing something spiritual and it's not fun, stop doing it. It has to be fun. When I go and lecture, I don't go up there and go, and no, I make jokes. And that's why if you read my spirit hacking book, I talk about Eckhart Tolle. And I love Eckhart Tolle, don't get me wrong, but the whole power of now to me as a shaman is bullshit. Because the power of now cannot exist on our world, because everything has to move in order to evolve. So the ocean moves, the trees move, the wind moves, flowers move, your blood is moving, your bile is moving, your lymphatic system's moving, everything is moving, and your consciousness is moving, everything is moving. So when you say something that is permanently stuck, you're going against the cosmic flow. And the cosmic flow is like a river and it constantly moves. And if you know how to ride it, that's why I love my friends who are surfers, because they understand that through surfing. My friends who are surfers, I could talk to them about spiritual things. They're like, yeah, like when you're riding a big wave. And then I said, exactly. Because if you don't know how to move, then you cannot move with life. So if you say things like, very infinitive things. It's painful. It's this, it's that. I'm trapped. I'm stuck. I'm blocked. My heart is broken. Like all these things where you're not bringing any form of movement. Here's movement talk. Movement talk is, I'm an actress, and that's something that moves my heart and my passion. I feel like a part of me has been confused. However, I know there are powerful spirits and powerful ancestors and energies coming in and moving and supporting that energy for me to rise out of that situation. There was a time where I thought it was painful only because I put myself in a stuck position, but I know there's so many powerful forces that are lifting me and shifting me and pulling me out of that energy that I realize all I have to do is make a choice.